Hello everyone, welcome to a very special video from Specialized Boarding School Shawat. I'm here with three people who have done something remarkable. They have completed their SAT examination with flying colors. I would like to ask them a few things about their experiences in the SAT examination. Let's see how it goes. Welcome Nasiba, Jawahar, and also Shahzoda. Let me start with Nasiba. Nasiba, would you like to share your experiences of writing SAT examination with us?
Yes, we have prepared almost 3.5 months, and during our preparation, we did our best. For example, our SAT examination consists of three parts: reading, writing, and math. In the math, I think math is not difficult for Uzbek students because during lessons we learn more complex concepts about the math. So I think math is easy for the Uzbek students. I think for all of the students also. And if we talk about reading, it requires more comprehension skills because there are different kind of questions which ask main purpose, main ideas of the context. And we have also a writing section. It's not about the writing essays or the some kind of texts. It's just questions about the grammar. For example, punctuation questions can be, or the transitions. For example, in the IELTS, we also use moreover, furthermore, the transitions to connect the sentences. And in SAT writing exam, they ask how to use the such kind of transitions in the context. So I think everyone can do this if they do more practice. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's a very detailed explanation from Nasiba. Jawahar, I would like to ask you, Nasiba was saying mathematics would be easy for most of the Uzbek students. Is it true? I don't know. I was very bad at mathematics when I was a school student like you. What do you think about it?
When it comes to math, I think it will be way easy compared to our school curriculum. Because in our school, especially specialized ones, we are specialized in math and its solving techniques and its just basic topics is enough for the SAT. We don't need too much complex ways to solve, or 3 or 4 different ways to solve, just one way and maybe some guessing strategy, and it's enough for math.
That's wonderful. So I'm sure being in a specialized boarding school, especially specializing in mathematics, must have helped you a lot. And in addition, you think it's a very easy thing to do. Very good. I would like to ask Shahzoda. Nasiba was also talking about reading and writing, and she was mentioning reading is all about comprehension. But when it comes to writing, she says it's all about grammar. Not like writing an essay for task 1 or task 2 in IELTS. So what would you like to talk about that?
Well, I think the writing section of SAT is not a hard nut to crack because it's really easy for the grammar learners, because when we begin learning English, we always begin learning it by its grammar rules. And I think that this is the case for the SAT also. The grammar structures are not very difficult and challenging for the students who have been learning English for a long time. And I think that the commas and punctuation mistakes can be eliminated if we practice more and more.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Shahzoda, for that brief answer. I'm sure the viewers have got an idea about what happens in the writing test. Now, I'm sure when all of you prepared for IELTS examination, it was quite a different task. I'm sure reading was completely different. It was not about comprehension. It is about comprehension, but there is a lot of thing to be applied. There are lots of things to be done, right? So when you prepare for SAT examination and someone is preparing for reading, what would you advise that particular student to do better in SAT examination, in reading, particularly, Nasiba?
Okay, we have prepared the SAT exam during the whole summer, and I think the summer is the best time to prepare because we are not at school and we don't have to do the home tasks and other assignments from the school. We are totally free, so at that time we had a lot of time to prepare. And if I talk about the reading, as I mentioned before, we need the comprehension skills. In addition, reading is more complex than other sections of SAT, so we need more attention. For example, we should read the text more carefully to understand the meaning, because in the SAT there are always questions which ask the meaning of the text. In addition, in the SAT reading section, we have vocab questions. It's called vocab in context, and in the blank, students should provide the most appropriate
So it's all about
vocab.
contextual use of vocabulary.
Yeah. So students should not just only learn the first meaning of the words, but they should learn the second, third, even third
So that they are
meaning
able to
of.
find the contextual
Yeah.
usage of the word. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be better.
Thank you very much. Jawahar, I'm coming to you. Let's talk about writing. When it comes to IELTS, writing is always a task for many people. I think the global average in writing IELTS exams itself tell you the global average is very poor compared to other modules like speaking or reading or listening. How did you prepare for the writing tasks in SAT exam?
Well, if I speak about my preparation for writing, I think that I've been learning English for straight 5 years. So for the first 2 years, I studied grammar. And I think this grammar helped me a lot. And when it comes to SAT preparation, I just used official materials to prepare. And there are only there are a few things that I should learn. That all was punctuation, and I paid more attention to punctuation, and all of them were grammar apart from punctuation, like modifiers, and what else? Modifiers, punctuation.
Pronouns, fragments.
Joining and separating sentences and fragments, like usage of some usage of transitions, as Nasiba mentioned, and there is a new topic called student notes in SAT writing, and there is a basic technique for solving these types of questions, and the technique is just looking at the notes and summarizing them. That's all. Well, what else about writing? I think that writing will be easy. Writing will be easy for compared to reading. Well, the hardest one can be reading. Next, writing.
So writing is comparatively easier.
Yes.
When it comes to writing,
Yes.
there are rules. If we apply the rules, everything is just like math. Why
Okay, so there are precise answers. Yeah.
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 There is no any answers that confuse the
Yeah.
student.
It's always right or wrong. Like
Yeah.
in mathematics, yeah.
And also, I have a suggestion for the IELTS students also. Before
Very good.
they,
That was one of the things we were going to discuss. Actually, very good. Yes.
yeah, before they take the exam, IELTS exam especially, they should learn the SAT writing. Why I'm going to say this? Because there are a lot of mistakes. There are a lot of mistakes that students made during their IELTS essays. Actually, it can be one of the. I can be the one of them. For example, before the SAT, I don't know the how to use the comma before the fanboys. Because and in addition, as Jawahar says, we have a modifiers. For example, I didn't use past participle, present participle in my IELTS essay before the SAT. I think it can help. SAT rules can help them to improve their score, half or one score even.
Grammatical accuracy might be much better once you prepare
Yeah.
for SAT examination. Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much, Nasiba. I'm sure these answers from Jawahar and Nasiba have definitely given the viewers a very good idea about how SAT can be very productive for someone who's going to take IELTS exams. I would like to ask Shahzoda, you have completed SAT examination. I'm sure whenever we take a test and when we get the result, we realize, no, I should have done that particular part better because I could have done that better. Now, do you have a feeling like that? Any regrets, any thoughts like now? Or at least some piece of advice for someone who is watching? Maybe do this better because that might be useful there when you go for SAT examination.
Well, as everybody has this kind of regrets, I also have this kind of regrets about my SAT exam, especially for reading. It's like the second model of reading is always depends on my first model. For example, if I do my first model best, the second model can be really hard. If I do the first model like very full of mistakes, the second model also will be very easy for me, and it's kind of adaptive test. And it at my first model, every question seemed to me really easy, and I did everything clear. I comprehended every word, every synonym, every meaning and the context of the readings, of the passages. Yeah,
Second part.
and I really had time for rechecking my tests in Module 1 reading.
Yeah.
And as for Module 2, as I have mentioned before, the Module 2 depends on the Module 1, and it was really hard. And I did it like I am doing it like Module 1. No, it's not Module 1, it's Module 2. Like, it's really hard. It's more challenging than Module 1.
Some advice for someone who is watching and who's going to take SAT examination in the future. Take every module seriously and
Yeah, really. Especially for Module 2, if you have confidence for your Module 1, you should pay serious attention to the Module 2, because you may not have time for the serious and crucial questions in Module 2. I also had this kind of mistake and I regretted it. Because the reading part of SAT is, I can say, much more difficult than the IELTS reading, because there will be very less time for the passages. IELTS can be easy because there is enough time, I think, for the students to learn.
One who prepares well.
Yeah,
We'll definitely find a lot
but
of time.
it's not the case for the SAT reading. And I can say that we will be given 32 minutes for 27 questions. You can admit that it is really less time for the students, especially
hard nut to crack.
yeah. es-
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I would like to ask you in general, actually, excuse me.
Especially for unnative
Actually, this is one thing I was going to ask you. Now, in IELTS, we know how much time we get for writing and all those things. I'd like to ask you, how does SAT exam happen? How much time is given for each module? Who would like to answer? Shahzoda or anyone? Okay, Shahzoda, back to you.
Well, as I have mentioned before, for reading and writing sections, we will be given 32 minutes for 27
Altogether.
questions. Yeah, altogether. There can be 13 or 14 questions for grammar, and the other ones are like reading. Reading is not just reading like IELTS passages. There will be a lot of graphs and charts, which is really time consuming. It will be really difficult for the person who is under the pressure, you know. And also, as for the math section, as Nasiba has mentioned before, math section is really can be a piece of cake for the students of Uzbekistan, especially the specialized school students. And we will be given 35 minutes for
mathematics.
for 35 minutes for 22 questions, and there are two models. 32 and also 35.
Okay.
And there will be 10-minute break for our snakes.
The SAT will be on the computer. So we have the little timer on the top of the computer, and one page will be full with the question in one side, and the other side the text. And the hardest thing for the reading, every single question comes with single paragraph.
Okay.
Little paragraph. In the IELTS, for all the questions, we have 5 or 6 paragraphs, little paragraphs. But in the SAT, it's different. However, the convenient side is it's on the computer, and we have the timer, so we can do this according to the time.
left,
It will be
So you're aware
helpful
of how much
for
time is left.
time management.
Thank you very much. Jawahar, I would like to ask you a question about preparation and connected with that. See, everybody knows that most of the students will be going for SAT examination. Now, you all talked about the easiness in mathematics. However, it can be challenging as well if you don't prepare well. Anything particular to talk about preparing for maths part?
Well, I think that language barrier, because in all math questions will be in English, and if they don't know how some context or how words meaning
So,
terms.
English language is definitely a gateway, right? It is a must there.
There are particular math terms that's not used in the local language.
Yeah,
All right. So you should be aware
students.
of the,
Yes, students should learn terms and just solve some problems connected to this term.
In the medicine, there are a lot of terms we don't know. The regular people don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Medical terms,
for
yeah.
example,
Yeah.
medical terms, the name of the medicines, the name of diseases. Just like in the math. For example, in the exam, I had such kind of problem. For example, I didn't know the meaning of this term. I had learned
Okay.
this, but I forgot this in the exam. But I handle it after that. With some ways, with some math tricks.
Very interesting. I think this is one point. I just had a discussion with a few students from grade 9, and one of the students was telling me there are students who believe English language is not my cup of tea, and I will just skip it. I'll do something else in my life. But then even those students who prepare for some other things, they might write SAT examination, and they should know that English language is key, even in doing the so-called easy part, mathematics, right? Thanks a lot for joining with me today. We'll definitely have more discussions on SAT. I know you have many other things to share. In order to make sure the video is not too long, we'll conclude it here. Thanks a lot for coming and joining. Inshallah, we'll come back and talk more about SAT examinations. And of course, we would definitely discuss many other examinations you have already written. Yes, but before we conclude, anything else you want to add?
Yeah. Mr. Rahman and our group, I have an offer for all of us and the ones who are watching this video. It's just bonus for the ones who are watching the video till the end.
Yes.
In the next video, we can make SAT tips for the ones who are going to take the SAT.
Thank you very much.
What do you think?
Thank you very much. I'm sure viewers watch it, listen to her carefully. We are going to come back with some SAT tips for all of you. And maybe Jawhar and Shahzoda will definitely say we can even come back with some IELTS tips as well, because you're all experienced writing all these examinations. So see you back in the next video. Thank you very much. Have a great time.